Thank you for inviting me to this workshop. But I did not read carefully the program, so I prepared only one presentation based on the PPT. But I found after my arriving, I have to speak on 3 panels. So last evening I have to think how to divide my ideas into 3 panels. Otherwise, the following 2 I have nothing to say. So the first panel we talk about is the issues and prospects. So let me focus on. So I do not use this PPT anymore. Some of them you can read it. Let's start from some recall of issues itself. We all understand this nuclear issue on the Korean Peninsula could be back to 1950s. 1958, U.S. for the first time deployed nuclear weapons on the Korean Peninsula. And North Korea started to do nuclear research from late 1950, partly supported by Soviet Union. And in 1960, North Korea set up this Yunling Nuclear Research Institute. But however, until late 1980, North Korea still would not intend to develop nuclear weapons. In 1989, North Korea called on to the discussion and negotiation of a non-nuclear Korean Peninsula. I think it's partly probably related to the U.S. deployment of nuclear weapons on the Korean Peninsula. I think the things started to change after the collapse of Soviet Union, the end of the Cold War. As North Korea changed its idea because North Korea feared new threat. But however, the many efforts still made during 1990s. For instance, in 1991, U.S. withdrew of nuclear weapons from Korean Peninsula. In 1991, Iraq committed not to develop nuclear weapons. In 1991, joint declaration on non-nuclearization of North and South Koreans. And 1994, framework agreement by the U.S. and DPRK. But these efforts, I think, still, the problem is there are so many, efforts. The DPRK, as I mentioned, has a deep-minded strategy that is new threat, how to defend itself. So also the U.S. never trust North Korea's real intention to give up, to not to develop nuclear weapons. So I think that's the 1990 effort had no good result. And then turn to the new century, the situation actually worsened. And with the announcement of John Bush's administration that North Korea was an accident evil, and Iraq war, many things happened after that, and the situation, I think, changed. But however, the efforts continue to be made. 6-party talks and launched, bringing all the major relating parties together. Two agreements reached on denuclearization by the 6 parties, September 19th statement, February 13th, joint document. And especially also the 2008 disablement of Yunling nuclear facility by DPRK, and the off DPRK on the list of supporting terrorist countries by US. So these efforts continue. And also North and South relations improved under Sunshine Policy before 2008. But as I mentioned, these tensions, actually worsened because also arose frequently. So during this time, DPRK tested nuclear weapons for twice, and UN sanctions them. So efforts all there, but also this situation continued to be worsened. So we should draw some lessons, I think, from this past experience. It's really like a cat and mice game, And the first lesson, I think, is the different strategic thinking, as mentioned by Professor Hill just now, some points. DPRK, especially after Cold War, really has taken nuclear weapons as a last resort to defend its regime. And political threat, it failed, even more serious than before. So that is why, DPRK always asks for a political improvement and to make the peace agreement and make this political improvement irreversible. But US and asked DPRK first to dismantle the nuclear weapons and make it denuclearization irreversible. So the two irreversible processes are quite different strategies. And considering to the ROC's role, I personally think the DPRK does not consider ROC as a real security threat. So DPRK has not taken ROC as a main party for this nuclear issue. So that is why I think ROC's effort on the denuclearization, the grand bargain, doesn't work well. So how to meet all this? 6-party talks tried to bring all this together. We had, a comprehensive thinking and agreement, simultaneous implementation efforts, but still, it did not solve this different strategic thinking, and also failed to solve the trust, as mentioned by the Professor. So something always hiding behind. So you make any agreement, but come back to the implementation, no trust on each other. So all the efforts continue on further improvement of nuclear facilities, and also the other efforts continue. So consider the future, I think there are several possibilities. One possibility probably it's isolation. North Korea will continue to be isolated. No progress on denuclearization. Sanctions continue. DPRK to be more isolated and hostility to be worsened. That's possible. The second possibility, ignorance. Okay, let it go. No change of U.S. policy to DPRK. DPRK regime continues, but with no significant improvement of DPRK's domestic situation. Internal instability may be arise, uncertainty, and so on. So that means we have no way to change the current dilemma. The third possibility, that is policy change of the U.S. Because DPRK's main concern is still U.S. is the main threat. The U.S. moves to a more positive policy to DPRK, relations improved, a possible peace agreement, DPRK disabled its nuclear weapons facilities under six-party talks, or after backing to IAEA and with a role on that. That's very positive. I think it's very difficult if you see the past. The fourth possibility, that is engagement, six-party resumes, encouraging DPRK to do reform and opening, back to NPT, denuclearization by a comprehensive and gradual steps, which the China favors approach. I call it probably the second best, but also with great difficulty. So all this seems have great difficulty. But the problem, I think now, we still have different forces comparing China and the US. I have found still we have great differences. For instance, as Professor Hill talked just now, and his main thinking should think post-North Korea. And you see the recent military exercise is targeted on post-North Korea, the collapse of major crisis, how to take over all this situation. I think it's very important. China will think that what will happen, what is, mean, what is China's future strategic interest, how to rearrange this regional relationship. But still, China's main thinking, strategic thinking, is how to help the North Korea regime or system to survive, encourage it to move toward a gradual change. So here, on US and ROC part, prepare mainly for the post-North Korea. We prepare for a changed Korea. So how to meet all this? I think that's the different strategic signals, and that is also relating to what we agreed on, how to implement these things. So I don't know about which how to meet our differences. I do not think China still think of zero-sum, future. But however, it is not clear for China what kind of strategic relations, even if happen. So that China does not want to see a collapse of North Korea, because its restructure of the strategic relationship is very difficult. As we recall six-party talks, we have two strategic thinking. One is denuclearization of North Korea and also Korean Peninsula. Second, to formulate a Northeast Asia security ratio, assisted. So the second one, I don't know how to formulate it. Because there's also not just Korean itself, Korean Peninsula relationship itself, but also relating to how to formulate, restructure China-US relationship in the future. You know, we see all this current competition, cooperation, tension between the two giant countries. We don't know how to manage. Though we have, I think, relatively China has a confidence now, more confident to manage this relationship. I think we still don't know what happened, how to manage in this part of the world. But however, we have not given up our hope, our effort, and all the parties, Europe, Japan, Russia, China, US, continue to visit frequently, consult each other, find a way how to make six-party talks to be resumed. And North Korea now also make a new statement, believe it or not, without precondition to be back to six-party talks, but still no track. And also, according to today's newspaper, Mr. Carter and Annan will visit North Korea in the future. So some efforts, we don't know, how to break the current dilemma we mentioned. So I leave some of my ideas in the following two panels. Thank you very much.